First, I'd like to greet everyone. Good morning. And then this is just going to be a casual chat with our very special guest who is visiting us. He was the main speaker yesterday at the Parks, the Philippine Association of Real Estate Consultants at the Manila Hotel, together with the speakers from Thailand, Taiwan, Indonesia, Brunei, uh, and so on from Thailand. Yeah. So it was a nice exchange, no? And unfortunately, not every one of us were able to attend. And there was a lot of things that uh, were discussed yesterday, which I would also like to share with them. Some of the things that you discussed yesterday, like how attractive Taiwan is and what makes them tick. Why is Taiwan very successful? Why is Taiwan very attractive to investors and their infrastructure and the way they do business? So, and since you were not there, maybe you can have at least about 15 minutes of your time if we ask.
Oh,
Can we ask those questions?
yeah.
Okay. So, thank you very much also to Steve Chan for arranging this. Steve introduced us to Dr. Xi in Taiwan last August.
August, yeah.
August of last July of last year.
July.
Together with BCDA president and also together with Philinvest, when we were trying to
Yes.
promote the Philippines to Taiwan, maybe to attract them to have some locators for the industrial properties in the Philippines. So the objective is how, because some of us have investors from Manila who might find some investments in Taiwan, maybe still affordable and attractive. And at the same time, maybe we can find the way wherein how can we make our, how can we make our properties or opportunities here attractive to the Taiwanese investors? In short, how can there be a stronger cross-border interaction or collaboration with the Taiwan investors? So we'd like to ask for the first question. Taiwan and the Philippines share vibrant economies and dynamic real estate markets. We have a lot of Taiwanese investors, not only now, but for the past several years. They're one of our top also investors in terms of industrial, right? And how do you see the potential cross-border collaborations, especially in the real estate market and development? How do you see the potential of cross-border collaboration?
Okay, so,
Or maybe
thank you.
introduction first.
Sorry.
The question we haven't. Not everybody know Dr. Yu yet.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, because I copied, I got the video of your full introduction yesterday.
You got a video?
Oh, yeah,
From
the one I
cell phone?
sent you, huh?
From cell phone?
No, for you. The
You got a
full,
video?
I didn't get in writing the full credentials, but Dr. C is what they call almost a little mayor of Taipei. He's a administrator and also from the Department of Finance. All right. So so basically, he's when it was described by Jonah, someone running the whole show, running the show in Taipei, right? So, or if you want to, if I missed something, maybe you would like to introduce also.
Okay. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Steve, Jane, and Jason, and Charles, right?
Yeah.
And
maybe,
Boris,
yeah.
distinguished very top realtor in Philippines. Nice to meet everybody. And as Andy just mentioned about the opportunity that for we know each other. That because last year there's very huge a team from Philippines to Taiwan, and so uh, actually I'm quite busy. When last year I served the Deputy Secretary General, but due to I think it's a very great that we could meet. So Andy just mentioned about the BCDA, Joshua, and Billy Invest, and also the PAZO. There is some top leaders, and this is why that we met each other with Steve Jen and Andy. So for this opportunity, the parks, when they want to host it, they call it RISE, which means Real Estate International Summit and Expo, just concluded yesterday in Hotel Manila, and they invited me. So I think it's great that I could come here and say something. So actually, that yesterday I talked about the especially that of course that we welcome this kind of cross-border investment from Philippines, from Taiwan. So when we talk about the real estate, because I have so many government position career. Maybe 15 years ago, I worked for the Ministry of Interior. I served the section chief for land right. So I'm in charge of the foreigner who could purchase property in Taiwan. We based on reciprocal, and so, but you know, I know that for Philippines, don't allow foreigner to own land, and for condo, the total building could only allow foreigner to possess 40%. So if I purchase a condo, then for the ownership of the building is fine, but for land, the foreigner could only through the list, right? So maybe 50 years or the extension. So it's a reciprocal. But I mentioned about yesterday. For Taiwan, we favor a little bit. If a Filipino purchase a condo in Taiwan, that not only a certificate of title for the building, but we can also give you a certificate for the land. For the land. Maybe, for example, if there's 100 units, 100 condo in this apartment, and if you purchase one, then maybe you can 1% of the land. So it's not 100% reciprocal. Could you understand? Because for Taiwan perspective, we favor a little bit. We still give the land ownership, you know. So, and secondly, that if maybe decades ago, maybe your ancestor, they have land in Taiwan, but maybe your ancestor, they pass away and you inherit the land. Even though foreigner could not own land in Philippines, right? But under this circumstance that if you inherit from your ancestor, it's fine. You still could own land. So I think that it's a really the topic that if we also want to attract more Taiwanese people to no matter invest or for the purpose of living that want to find a project here. So and this is why that for my trip here, and when Andy when you know that I'll come here, and we're so happy that we can have a time to have a talk, and especially with the top realtors. Yeah, because I know that for the real estate industry very strong in Philippines. Yes. So for the past 2 and 3 days that I made a lot of experts, no matter consultants, no matter realtors, real estate agents, and appraisers, valuers, and your eligibility, because due to the PRC, right, the Professional Regulation Commission, they regulate, right? So how to become a broker. We just have a talk, maybe 4 years of training, and being a broker for 10 years, then you can become a consultant, but you need to pass the exam. And so very strong, the, the, the market. And so it's a very good opportunity that, because my background, I studied real estate for my whole bachelor, master, and PhD degree. And so even though I also served the director of finance before, so I need to create 7 billion USD annually for our Taipei City government. And but my background is real estate, so I'm happy that I got an opportunity to come here and have the first-hand dialogue with all the top realtors, especially the KW, because I just learned about the KW is the top, the biggest. I mean, in terms of sales volume, especially in 2022, it's a technology international franchise, and headquartered in Austin, Texas. And so I know that for this kind of dialogue, and I think teacher for both sides. Okay, it's something that just also.
Yeah.
Thank
Now,
you.
you mentioned that for many years you've been in charge of bringing in investors to Taipei also. Now, that is also what we want to do in the Philippines. Now, what are some of the key incentives that you offer to the investors that makes Taipei or Taiwan very, very attractive?
Oh, okay. I think one, of course, the geography. Yeah, because we talked about it. Compared to other countries, Philippines are very friendly. I mean that for flight, direct flight to Philippines, less than 2 hours. And so, if they're they're a good project, if they're a good project, I think that for a Taiwanese investor, this is some incentive. And by the way that I mean, for the I also been to the Department of Finance of Philippines, and now the secretary is rector, and because my finance background, and so I learned something about now the Philippines. You also try to attract a foreign investment. For example, you have the PPP, the public-private partnership, and want to attract more private fund, right, to invest. So you also try to reduce the income tax. I saw a project. So I think with this kind of a potential incentive that your central government trying to do, that I believe that if we can have more this kind of information to not only Taiwan, but all investors around the world, when they realize that it would be more appealing, right, for people to come here.
Yes. So there's still a very strong possibility of some manufacturing companies in Taiwan to expand in the Philippines, or
Yeah. Yeah, especially that for for the close trade. I mean, the relation between Taiwan and China. So this is why maybe 1 decade ago, there are too many Taiwanese businessmen. They relocate their factory to mainland China. But due to currently our ruling party of Taiwan is DPP, which means Democratic Progressive Party. And because DPP had been ruled the central government, the ruling party for 9 years. And so their affiliation not want to close to mainland China. So we have the southbound policy. southbound policy that we the central government, right? They persuade our manufacturer, our business people could invest in the southern country, including Philippines. So I think it's a trend.
So there's a big opportunity also.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Taipei, your city has been recognized for its smart initiatives.
Yeah.
Right? And we were there. We saw the smart city.
Yeah.
How can you share insights to Taiwan's approach to sustainable urban development, which is now very, very, I think that's a trend now, having sustainable development. How is Taiwan doing this initiatives?
Yeah, of course that for the urban planning is so important. And for example, that for Taiwan, we have, I remember, 437 urban planning. I mean, across the whole island. And we have 22 cities and counties. Every city and county, they have their urban planning. And the most important is the so-called climate change issue. So yesterday, I also made the commissioner for climate change. His name is Albert Cruz. Albert Cruz. Maybe some of you know him. And because about 2 years ago, Albert Cruz, he's a commissioner of climate change in the Philippines. He also led a team to Taipei City government to have a person-to-person contact with our director of Department of Environment Protection. And so the net zero for Taiwan, the 2050, not only Taiwan but out of the country, we want to become the net zero by 2050. And so I think that not only Taiwan but Philippines, this is why yesterday I mentioned about Commissioner of Climate Change from Philippines. He also mentioned about the big issue. So I think for the sustainability, for the long-term development is a trend, and we want also make our urban planning to guide how people to live peacefully, right, facing the climate change issue. And I also admire, because I know that for Philippines, your renewable energy on the rise. You do a lot of projects for renewable energy. I think it's a trend.
Yes. Now mentioning about the trend, what are the other emerging trends in Taiwan in terms of real estate development that maybe some of our investors can also consider,
Yeah.
or maybe some trends that we can imitate or apply here. What are the most recent trends in real estate development in Taiwan?
Okay, so I think that for real estate industry in Taiwan, kind of similar with Philippines. That, for example, I also get a license for real estate appraiser, real estate broker, and land registration agents. And maybe, but I know for Philippines, some broker, they will do the job. Some real estate agent, they will help the custom to do the transaction, the title, the title. And so I think it's similar that we also have very strict rule. We have a very mature regulation to regulate all the real estate industry. But for the past year, that the property market in Taiwan not so good due to some measures by either the central government and also central bank. Because maybe for the past year that our real estate price increased exponentially. So I also mentioned about yesterday that there's an indicator we call the PIR. PIR means the price to income ratio. And price to income ratio for Taipei almost 16, only second to Hong Kong. higher than most city in the world. So this is why that a lot of people could not afford buying a house in Taiwan. And maybe some people will blame the bank. Yeah, because the bank too easy to get a loan and very high loan. So this is why last year, starting from September last year, that our central bank, they restrict all our banks, right? So if you got a loan and you could not have a grace period, and for your house, maybe if I purchase a house, it's my first first house. Before maybe I can get a loan 60%, loan to loan to value 60%, but now only 50%.
Okay.
And if I have already a house, but I want to invest, maybe it's my third home, the loan could only 30%, 30%.
Okay.
So what I mean that nowadays it's also quite competitive for the real estate industry because of transaction volume down due to before a lot of investors, but now maybe they just the wait and see, wait and see. But I think that it's just a cycle. The full real estate market is cycle, so they'll be down in an uptrend. So I think for long term, it should be optimistic. Yeah, because with all infrastructure for project that it will help the private market booming. So I also welcome if you have interest, you can also to got a profession, right?
Yeah, yeah.
In Taiwan.
So maybe that's Taiwan's way of somehow regulating the speculative buying.
That's very yeah.
Speculative because just like let's say Singapore stamp duties in Singapore is already 60%.
Six
60, the one discussed by
60%.
Adam yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So if you buy a property at $2 million, your stamp duties is 1.2 million, just for the stamp duties. That's the way they try to control and yeah, their cooling measures. Now, you mentioned also that of course you attract the investors.
Yeah.
Attracting the investors is to come to Taiwan is challenging, but the more challenging is keeping them there, right? So, what are the challenges that you face in keeping these investors here, staying here? I mean, in Taiwan.
Oh, okay. Actually, that for Taiwan, our people, a lot of wealthy people, a lot of rich people. So, I think they have found it. They just want a potential project, and um, so I think that with um, I think that information is quite important. The transparency, right? To that our people from Taiwan, they could understand. They could understand the stability and the vision and of our property market. I think it's quite important. And because if for example, we just talked about with some friend that maybe some people they want to invest in other country, but when they found that there is some opportunity in Taiwan, and because for our southern Taiwan, compared to I come from Taipei, the capital city. Compared to Taipei, for southern Taiwan or central Taiwan, their real estate market still have more space to grow. So maybe they will try to compare which location is better. And so if not only compare the location in Taiwan, but also could compare with other countries, And also I want to mention about because for Taiwan, because yesterday when I also gave a presentation, and Yeah, because they want me to compare a little bit about our our the property tax system,
Yes.
the difference between Taiwan and Philippines. For example, for the for example of capital gain tax, capital gain tax. I know that in Philippines that it should subject to 6%, right? 6% of the transaction price, and that maybe you didn't earn anything, right? Maybe you purchased the price higher than now you want to sell, right? You don't earn anything, but the government still want to have a 6%. And by the way, the BIR, the Bureau of Internal Revenue, they also have a zonal value, right?
Yes.
The zonal value maybe will be higher than the real transaction price.
Yes.
And that's your capital gain. But in Taiwan, it's so complicated. Do you know what? Because we have the so-called real transaction price.
Yes.
So, for example, our capital gain that we'll calculate, because for example, once 100 is your selling price, 100, and 3 years ago, you purchased 80, right? So 100 deduct 80,
880.
your capital gain will be 20, right? And of course that we will also deduct some transaction related fee. So maybe eventually your tax base only 10, not 20, right? And then we'll multiply by the we call it tax rate. And tax rate is very high. If you own your property less than 1 year and you decide to sell it, it's a very short term, right? Speculation, right? So the tax rate will be 45%. 45%. And but you know, if the longer you have, right, the longer you have, maybe only 10%.
No.
But foreigner is a different story. We call it non-residents. If you don't live in Taiwan, right, we think that you're just an investor, right? So for a foreigner, the tax rate will be ranging from 25% to 45%.
No.
But you know, it's very complicated because not only the capital gain tax, we also have a land value increment tax. And land value increment tax also based on the we call it official assessed value. Official assessed value. And we call it announced current land value. Announced current land value. It will be assessed by our local government every year. Every year. But do you know that why it's so complicated? We have two capital gain tax. One is the land value increment tax, and one is the real transaction tax. Now, because our land value increment tax is regulated in our constitution. Full constitution is way too complicated. Even our parliament don't have the power to change. So several years ago, when we wanted to tax on the real transaction price, but the parliament, they only have the authority to enact the law, right? But they don't have the power to. So do you know what happened? So the land value increment tax, the people supposed to pay, you still need to pay. But for the previous case I mentioned about, if 100 you sell and 800 you purchase, right, and then 20 for your capital gain, and you deduct the 10, right, for your related fee, right, and then because you have already paid your land value increment tax, so how much you pay already could also deduct from the 10 you're supposed to pay, you know. So if you don't understand, it's fine, right? Because it's really complicated, right? So what I mean that it's kind of is a cultural barrier. So for example, this issue is a different idea for what you need to pay, what you pay in Philippines and Taiwan.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this is the purpose of parks for the RISE 2025. Is that the different
Understand.
country they also want to encourage the cross-border, right?
Yes.
The cross-border investment. So that's why they want not only me but the Thailand, Brunei, and India, right?
Singapore.
Yeah, to express our different view, and that we can show each other.
The different regulations, the different systems, and the attractions.
And
Maybe you can
before
ask.
Robert,
Yeah.
you want to share something? Like,
Robert.
you have anything
To ask,
recently?
yeah.
We also like to learn from the Secretary General, Dr. Yu, because we have a lot of Taiwanese investors recently because of the thanks to the Trump, because Trump, the tariffs are crazy.
Yeah,
And then,
we got 32, but Philippines only
17.
only 17.
17.
Yeah,
17.
17.
Terrible.
So
Yeah.
everybody, before nobody want to invest in the Philippines, or they
Yeah.
think, oh my gosh, the
Power
labor
is
cost
very high.
expensive, power cost, everything is higher. But now everybody talk about green power. So green power, which is solar panel,
Yeah.
or the wind panel. But that's the same cost because the sun in Taiwan and the sun in the Philippines is the same sun. It's free of charge. So when you talk about green energy, it looks like not that much difference anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe in fact they even want to buy power from Philippines.
Yeah.
But
No, our economic minister.
yeah, they want to buy power. But we encounter a lot of this. I think we want to hear from you. How do you see that? Is really Taiwan so interested in Philippines, or is that just a fake news? Philippines is a good market for Taiwanese investor.
Yeah, I think I agree with Steve Jen, because actually, really, due to the tariff war, that because our export to the United States, we reached a record high, which made Donald Trump not so happy, and the 32% on Taiwan, and of course now still in the 90 days negotiation, right? And we don't know what will happen eventually, but some people just mentioned about why not invest in Philippines? Because the Philippines compared to other countries, right? Your tariff is more favorable, only 17%, not like Taiwan, 32%. So it's really that maybe some our Taiwanese businessmen they are considering to relocate their factory in Philippines. And the number two topic is the energy issue, the electricity. For Taiwan, because our electricity is cheaper, cheaper. Maybe less than we call the if less than $3 new Taiwan dollar. $3 new Taiwan dollar if converted to Philippine peso might be five. Yeah, might be five. Yeah. But for Philippines, because your renewable energy, your green energy, quite mature. Yeah, that's why CBJ mentioned about yes, because now Taiwan, our policy of our ruling party, want phase out nuclear, and our nuclear power plant will be totally stopped this year. So that's why some people worried about it. Without the support of nuclear power, there will be the power shortage, right? So that's why, because the Philippines is very close to Taiwan. Our southern tip of Taiwan to the Luzon Island, the north tip, only 53 kilometer, very close, right? And with undersea cable, anything could do, right? Could transmit the electricity. So I think our Minister of Economic Affairs, Guo, right?
Yes.
He really
Wanna
seriously
try.
thinking about it. Yeah, but yes, I say it's a good issue.
Yep. Please, you have any, Robert?
Yeah.
And location-wise, we're basically both strategically located.
Yeah,
Philippines and Taiwan. It's almost identical.
Yeah.
So we offer similar
Yeah.
possibilities with what Taiwan offers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Camille, do you have any questions for?
Hi, have two questions. One is very personal. Have you tried balut in the Philippines?
First time?
Yeah.
Balut.
First time.
Have you tried balut in the Philippines? Or exotic food? So those are nipa. So what's the first question? But anyway, my second question would be, my role here in Keller Williams is part of the growth and expansion for Keller Williams offices here in the Philippines. So I would ask a relevant question to my position, and I'd like to hear your advice. With the influx of investments from Taiwan to the Philippines, which I have personally witnessed in the last 2 months, going through, going with Sir Steve, assisting all these locators. My question is, what's your advice for us to position ourselves to capture distraction, if not all, or majority of it, so we can service them, or we will be their go-to real estate service provider for the investors from Taiwan to the Philippines? Like, how do we position ourselves in that?
Oh, it's a very difficult question. How do you position yourself?
Yeah.
Right. And if an influx of the money, the investment
Investors coming here.
What will make us
from
attractive to them?
Yeah, so
Yes.
we will be their first go-to agencies or brokerage. By the way, we don't have Keller Williams yet in Taiwan, so that's another opportunity. But yeah, how do we position so we'll be, we can service them more, especially Keller Williams?
I think that, for example, I just mentioned about now, the Marcus Jr. Administration, they have some policy wanting to attract the foreign investment. So I think that you could also give this kind of information to make the invest from Taiwan, right? They got more confidence. I think the confidence is quite important, because to be honest, for example, that when I come here, because my mom a helper from Philippines, she's from Makati, and she told me be careful, because she said that the security not so good right now. But I don't want to talk something about the politics, because maybe the Rodrigo Duterte, the former president, under his administration, even though he cracked down on drug dealing against Vietnam, for my helper, domestic helper, she's saying it's safer than now. Yeah, but it's not so good for me to talk about it. I just heard, yeah, because but I know that the current president, Mark Jr., is also quite efficient to all kind of administration. But what I mean that if they have this kind of idea, then maybe other people will also concerned. So what I think, what you position yourself, not only the profession, the expertise, but all kind of information to make them to think about it. It would be a good idea, and no other thing need to worry, right? For the policy or the society, okay. Anyone want supplement?
Yeah, I feel that what you're trying to say is that it's a general concern. It's really the politics here, maybe, and also the security.
Yeah.
Because from living abroad, it's always like you hear firsthand news that there's a war here, there's drugs there. So it's basically probably
The impression.
it's probably the Philippine government trying to clean up our
International perception.
Yes.
cleaning up our how we are in the eyes of the world.
Yes.
So we can have they can have a better perspective that we've actually
Yeah.
cleaned up, not all, but we're a better country than we were before.
Yeah.
Probably that's what you're
That's
saying.
why PESA is actually doing a good job. PESA's
PESA.
job is Teo Panga, right? Of
Yeah.
PESA. PESA is doing a great job in promoting the positive news about the Philippines.
Yeah.
Because what you're going against is that PESA is releasing all this positive news and attraction, and then you have the headlines from the newspaper,
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
are
yeah, to be honest, when several days when I will come here and I read some news that your Vice President Sarah Duterte, and she said that if the president killed her, she will retaliate. I think it's kind of impossible for it to here in Taiwan.
yeah,
Because it's a very stark, conflict between your
Correct.
president and vice president. So maybe some people will feel about the the, the stability,
yeah,
the policy. So I think
That's
it-
right.
it-
We
it's
really have to
why-
control the media.
Yes,
Really, I
yes,
think
yes.
democracy is not working here anymore. Really, it's not.
Too
it's
much, too
it's
much,
too
too
much.
much, too much democracy.
Too much
the
democratic.
political- It's too
Yeah.
polarized. It's
Yeah,
too
too
polarized.
polarized,
That's what we really have to
Too much.
control.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Now,
have a
Tess
question.
says-
I have a question. How long have you been in the Philippines so far?
How long is on the fourth day?
Yeah.
4 days?
The fourth day, and I will leave this afternoon.
You know what?
Okay, in that 4 days, which areas in Manila have you visited so far?
Okay, I just I only walk. I walk to the Intramuros.
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 okay.
I walk to the Fort Santiago,
For
Santiago.
Santiago.
and I also walk to the Manila City Hall.
You walked
Yeah, I walk there.
by
And this
yourself?
By
morning,
yourself?
yeah, by myself. And this morning, I also took the your metro across the river to
Rizal Park?
I
Chinatown.
Chinatown?
yeah, it's somewhere Chinatown. Yeah, this morning because I don't have much time. Yeah, so I just I walk around and
Yeah.
I took the metro.
Yeah. Because going around by yourself, how did you feel did you feel
Security.
safe?
Okay, yeah, to be honest, that because when I saw some YouTuber to mention about what you must see and what you need to care about, and to be honest, is that the day one when I walk around, and even someone why remind me just staying in hotel.
Yeah.
To be, my wife want me to stay in hotel.
Okay.
But I think that it should be fine. So I walk around. But for example, when I was in Manila Bay, the beach, and went on the bridge, just want to take a photo with a better angle to see the sunset.
Yeah.
And really, there are some kids. They
Yes.
just go by me, and he really touched my pocket. He only touched, and I know he want to beg some money. And by the way, that when the day one, the host of parks, they arrange a car to taking all our speakers from airport to
Yeah.
the hotel, and the street is so crowded. But
There's construction in
It's
Ross
construction.
Boulevard there.
and but there are kids just in the middle of the road.
On the street, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the pad our window and begging
Back,
money.
yeah.
Yeah, so but some people just say that ignore him. Don't look at him.
Yeah.
And but yesterday when I made a director from the International Affairs Office from PRC, her name is Melissa. I remember, and I asked her about it because I know some people say the biggest slum in the world is somewhere close to Manila.
Metro. Yeah.
And we checked about it. It's only 5 kilometers. And I'm wondering, I want to go there. I just wanted to experience. Because now is the huge wealth gap. Some people billionaire, but some people still live in poor condition. So I saw some video that area they're very poor condition, and they live by garbage. And also some people they just they will collect some leftover from the McDonald's, some fast food store, and just wanted to to eat. And but the good news is that she told me that's fine. If you go there daytime, it's fine. Don't go there at night.
Nighttime.
At night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really the perception that I experienced for the past 3 days.
Yeah, because we were hoping that you could have spent more
More
time
time.
here, so we could brought you around and at least have a good
Comparison.
understanding of the good and the bad,
Yeah.
as I would
Sure.
say. Yes.
I hope I will come back again.
Yes, please.
You have
yes.
one last question?
No.
See?
Any last questions?
Last
so we
question,
can wrap
yes.
it up?
You,
Yeah.
you mentioned that Taiwan is going to start building new nuclear power
Yeah,
plants this year. And so that means you're going to have
Solar.
from
Renewable.
other countries.
Renewable energy.
Because I know this company, it's called Basic Energy, and they're dealing in renewable energies. And is there a possibility or are there financial resources that are available from the Taiwanese government that they could tap, or maybe some Taiwanese companies who are willing to invest here as partners for renewable energies like solar, wind,
Geothermal.
yeah, because we do have a lot of resources like land, solar that they could tap. They're looking at those possibilities, and Basic Energy, they were able to partner recently with a Japanese firm. So, but they're still looking for more. Then there's another one like bioethanol plant. We have a law that we should be using 20% ethanol, bioethanol fuel, but right now we're only able to utilize 10% because not enough bioethanol is being produced here, and we import most of it from Brazil. So are there financial resources or institutions in Taiwan that the Filipinos could tap, because this is where also related to real estate? This bioethanol plant, they would be purchasing or leasing maybe like 10,000 hectares for the plantation, because they're going to use the gas, or they could ask for the Chinese banks to help them finance. Because right now the problem with the renewable energy is that the landowners, they don't want to lease, they want to sell that one. But right now, most renewable energy companies, they only want to lease. So there's a mix. There's a huge problem with that one.
These
So
two topics.
are there financial institutions or are there Taiwanese companies who are willing to invest here or renewable energies?
I think there are some feasibility. For Taiwan, because the nuclear power is very cheap, the production cost maybe only $1 but for renewable energy, maybe 5. But because it's our central government, they just want to phase out nuclear. And for example, that I've been to Germany, and Germany also phased out the nuclear. And Germany, they could import the electricity from neighboring countries. Maybe neighboring countries, they still have a nuclear power plant. So why not? That is for Taiwan, even we're surrounded by sea. But Philippines very close. So that's why we just talk about that our Minister of Economic Affairs, Mr. Guo, he's thinking about why not? If we invest, we just purchase. And so this is why for the policy that for renewable energy and for the wind power, that a lot of European, especially for example Denmark, or because they very mature in this kind of renewable energy, not only solar but wind power. So they come to Taiwan, and we have some company to operate with them. And so I think it would be a model if here, right, to cooperate with Philippine solar power or wind power a company. I think there's some feasibility here.